media. I love sci-fi, I love end-of-the-world stuff. But my hot take is that generally, it's always too gray, too bleak, too desolate in post-apocalyptic sci-fi settings. And one of the joys of my work is I get to study the times when the world has ended before. We call them the Big Five mass extinctions. These are defined as times when more than 75% of all species on Earth went extinct, usually pretty rapidly. And if there's one thing I've learned from studying and writing about these time periods is it's rarely gray and dark and desolate. It's actually normally pretty vibrant in its own way when that happens. So I'm going to run you through some of my personal favorite mass extinctions and why they were more vibrant and colorful than you might expect. So, starting with the very first one, the End Ordovician mass extinction, some 450 million years ago or so. The first mass extinction of all time, one of the worst. Now, on land, things were gray and desolate, yes, but there was no real life on land, so it'd been like that already. In the oceans, life had been thriving. We had complex animal life, early complex animal life, and then this mass extinction hits. We don't know exactly what causes it, but we see that most species go extinct at this time. But in a series of papers that dropped in 2015 and 2017, researchers in China were studying some layers they had discovered that dated right to the aftermath of this extinction event. And what they found was just a ton of sponges, covered in sponges. No other life, really, a bit of one sea scorpion. But there were so many sponges and so many diverse sponges in the aftermath of this extinction that they called this time period Sponge World. Earth turned into Sponge World in the aftermath of the first ever mass extinction. Now, okay, sponges, they're not exactly the most charismatic species. They don't have eyes or faces, but they're colorful. They're cool looking. You can spend all day looking at a vast underwater field of sponges and you won't feel bored. So our first ever mass extinction was not gray or boring by any means. It was very visually stimulating, actually. Moving on to the next one, the worst mass extinction of all time. This is not chronologically, I'm just picking a few of my favorites. The End Permian mass extinction. And we have a show coming out on this one later this week on Wednesday, I believe, Eons, Life and Death on Pangaea. Please check it out. It'll air on PBS. So this was the worst ever mass extinction. More than 80% of all species went extinct, caused by massive volcanic eruptions. Very, very sad time, big tragedy, the worst thing that ever happened that we know of. But not boring, not gray, not desolate. In fact, what we see is plant life mutated en masse all around the world. We see this because we have their spores and their pollen, all kinds of weird, messed up, deformed. We don't know exactly what caused this. We think maybe because of ozone depletion causing the planet to be bathed in infrared radiation, maybe mercury spikes that triggered chemical mutagenesis from all the volcanic eruptions. But there would have been tons of plants that survived but were heavily mutated and doing all kinds of weird stuff. And moving on to maybe the most famous mass extinction of all time, at the end of the Cretaceous, 66 million years ago, the KPG. Big asteroid impact, ends the reign of the dinosaurs, causes a impact winter where the sun is blocked out for years, maybe decades. You would think, okay, this time it's gray and boring and desolate, right? No, boom. Fungal explosion. Fungi takes over the planet. A global fungal bloom. We see this in the fossil record, a layer of fungal hyphae. And we also see this is where magic mushrooms also evolved in the aftermath of this extinction. Fungi, obviously, beautiful, crazy shapes, crazy colors, would have been really charismatic to see. So that's my big hot take. The apocalypse will be colorful, actually. For any of you who survive the next one, I hope you'll join me in snorkeling through the oceans of Sponge World, in picking weird mutant flowers, in frolicking through the mushroom meadows. Hope to see you there. Thanks.